Meet our hero, Smokey the Bear, a level 1 druid. In this story, follow the tales of a homeless night elf to a homeless bear on his quest to save all of Azeroth without dying a single time in WoW Hardcore. There will be plot twist, betrayal, romance, and death. So let us begin and go back to the very beginning. So our hero story begins in Shadowglen, the home of the Night Elves, the hottest race in all of Warcraft. Our hero begins murdering the innocent wildlife for EXP and gold. The journey started off well. Our hero ran into no trouble and was fine for the time being. Once our hero was done exterminating the wildlife, it was time to move on to Dolinar. In Dolinar, there are much more challenging quests, one of them being the Relics of Wakening. Along the way, our hero met another night elf, Storianis the Hunter. Now, Relics of Wakening is a quest that is done inside a cave, and adventuring in a cave is, well, not always safe. Because questing in a cave is far more dangerous than questing in the outer world. You are far more likely to die in a cave than anywhere else. And with our hero having to meet his end inside a cave twice before, our hero was being extra careful and was not going to take any risk. As Storianis and our hero bonded together and adventured deeper in the cave, there was clearly something rising. The sexual tension was rising.
Whoa, hold on a minute now. Tension? What tension? There is no tension going on here. This is a random guy that invited me to a party. He has a wife.
Yes, but of course, I'm terribly sorry about that. So anyway, our hero and his new lover survived the cave and made it out in one piece, and went their separate ways. Now our hero has finally reached level 10. It was time for our hero to finally become what he was always meant to be, a furry. With our hero newfound passion, leveling up would be much easier and much safer than before. At this point, our hero had a choice to make. Level up and quest in Darkshore, or go to Stormwind instead. Our hero decided it was time for a change. It was time to head to Stormwind. But there was a bit of a problem. It was getting there. Now there were two ways to get to Stormwind. One being traveling through the wetlands and getting eaten by crocodiles, or swim from Menethil Harbor all the way to Stormwind, which would be much safer, but it will take a lot longer than just walking there. So it was either getting eaten by the wildlife or a very long swim there. So our hero decided it was time for a very long swim. But this was good exercise for our hero, as he wasn't in the best shape, thanks to transforming to a 900-pound-plus bear half the time and eating everything in sight. So after a very long swim, our hero was able to finally make it to Westfall without any trouble. As our hero arrived, it was time to head on over to Stormwind. Stormwind City, where all your hopes and dreams may come true, a place where everyone wants to be. With our hero finally making it to Stormwind City after a long journey, it was time to stock up on supplies. Our hero then got to work. killing murlocs, spiders, rats, and anything else. Our hero then made his way to Tinkertown to learn the fine arts of engineering. Since our hero was already at Ironforge, he decided to help the fine town folks nearby. But the help they needed was mostly killing more animals because they were doing animal things. It seems like the Alliance's real enemies wasn't the Horde, but the wildlife itself. Once our hero was done wiping out the wildlife, he made his way back to Ilian Forest to take on a mighty foe, Hogger. Now, Hogger may look a little bit cute and harmless on the surface, but don't let looks deceive you. He's a real asshole. Many have fallen to this beast, but our hero wasn't going to be the next in line. But in the end, with a little bit of help from outside bystanders, Hogger was no match for the mighty bear. As our hero found another quest on his way to do, it was to kill another bear, one of his own kind. This saddens our hero, but he did what he had to do. He really needed the silver for a new pair of boots. Along the way, our hero came across another adventurer who seemed to think he was a chicken. Or maybe he simply identified as a chicken. In this day and age, who really knows? But as our hero finally reached level 16, it was time to learn another furry form, the sea lion. But our hero needs to complete a few tasks first before he can become one, which involve getting 2 half-pendants scattered deep underwater. Once our hero was done, he was finally able to achieve his long-time dream to become a sea lion. Our hero then continued to grind until he was level 20 for the final furry form that awaits him, the pussy. With our hero now past level 20, there was still one goal remaining for our hero, one goal that must be completed at least once in hardcore: conquering a dungeon. And what better dungeon to conquer than the Dead Mines? With our heroes Smokey, Jace Midnight the Druid, K-Club the Warrior, Lilbipo the Mage and Mayberry the Rogue, they were ready to take on the Dead Mines. These were the finest hero Azeroth will ever come to know. As our heroes prepare to slaughter all the innocent miners who were simply doing their job, making minimum wage because everyone is buying trading from other players and not from the NPCs. As our heroes make their way to the very first boss, things were going as planned. The first boss, Rakzor, stand no chance against the WoW Avengers and went down without much trouble. As our heroes continue to make their way to the second boss, Sneed's Shredder, he too was no match and becomes another victim in their way. The third boss was a bit more tricky for our heroes, as you have to be careful to pull no more than 2 mobs at a time, as they like to run for their lives, which could end up pulling the whole room. Gilnid, the third boss, went down as smooth as butter without much of a fight. Mr. Smite, the fourth boss, is an interesting fellow cow. The fight is split into 3 phases, each decided by the weapon he currently has equipped. But even then, he too was no match for Azeroth's greatest warriors. Our heroes continue to make their way to Captain Greenskin, also known as the Green Goblin. But just like all the rest, he too has fallen to the A-team. With one boss now remaining, Edwin Van Cleef, it was time for the final showdown. Van Cleef has 2 minions that are stealthed that will enter the fight, so our adventurers will need to take care of them before taking on Van Cleef. With Van Cleef just left, it was time for our adventurers to put an end to this once and for all. And so, with Edwin Van Cleef out of the way, our adventurers have finally completed the Dead Mines. With no casualties and some nice loot for our adventurers, the Dead Mines was a success. Our adventurers then went their separate ways, and after hearing horror stories about people dying in dungeons by being abandoned by their allies, A hero learned that even though you can't trust anyone in hardcore, sometimes it helps to have a little bit of faith and put some trust in your allies.